I've asked myself the question before, why would Kanks put a failed Fox News host that only worked on the weekend and couldn't show up when he wasn't all liquored up to work? Why would he put this pathetic piece of shit in charge of one of the most prestigious institution in the United States, and that is the United States military? This fucktwat has already renamed his position from Secretary of Defense to Secretary of War because his ego is so fragile and his teeny weeny peeny is so pathetic that he has to act like he's a tough guy. Well, we know he has run everything he's ever done into the ground, just like Trump. He's running around with his white supremacy tattoos. He's got 3 baby mamas. He's having divorces. His own mother had to go on an apology tour because she told him he acted horrible and needed to get help. But this, of course, is who authoritarian Kanks puts in charge of military, not because he's qualified, but because he is loyal only to Kanks and not the United States Constitution. And so that is why I am terrified by this video that this fucktwat put out over the weekend.
This is a 1939 moment, or hopefully a 1981 moment. A moment of mounting urgency. Enemies gather, threats grow, you feel it, I feel it. If we are going to prevent and avoid war, which is what we all want, we must prepare now.
Pete Hegseth, I don't think that you are capable of jumping a rope with a 4-year-old. So no, I have zero confidence in you preparing the United States for war. I mean, your bozo, the clown boss, is acting like he's preventing all these war. You're murdering people on boats, Venezuelans in the Caribbean Sea. You are absolutely destroying the reputation of the U.S. military because you're incompetent. You're putting war plans on signal. That's how pathetic you are. And the thing is, Kank still keeps you because you're so malleable and you're so weak and impotent, because you are the only person that would sell the military down the river and all the very serious people that serve the Constitution. You're immediately going to discount them for the fat fuck because you have nothing. You are nothing. You have no patriotism. You have no core value because you suck. And so we hear over and over again about what Hegseth's doing at the military. Polygraphs, don't testify to Congress, NDAs, because what he's doing is shady shit. And now we find out another huge purge of career military. According to Greg Yoffe, Hegseth is purging military leaders with little explanation. Eric Schmidt, New York Times, and Helen Cooper and I spoke with 20 current and former military officials about the purge. This surprises me zero. Of course, he's purging military leaders who pledge loyalty to the Constitution. We saw the admiral in charge of the Navy that is in charge of the area that Hegseth is murdering people without due process. He resigned because he's like, I can't do this shady shit. I was trained to serve the United States, not a big fat Kanks and a pathetic one drink away from a full house guy that doesn't know shit, that is so reckless with information. He's on fucking Signal with his wife and his lawyer. It's bananas. How did we get here? We got here because we elected a clown, and now this is the circus. And just in something that, of course, I believe, because Trump grifts first and foremost, raiding the Treasury is not enough. He is now selling his Trump wine on military bases. Because of course he is. He has Trumpy trout. He has Trumpy, Trump 2028 hats. He's got all this bullshit, his watches and his sneakers and all this gross, nasty stuff that he schleps around to these complete dipshits that buy it. His approval ratings are so low. Only the cult, like the 30%, are actually buying this shit, I'm sure, because meme coins and NFT cards, it's a racket. Everything he does is a racket. And I'm sure in time, because everything Trump touches dies, this will peter out and go the way of Trump vodka and Trump steaks, Trump casinos. And that means these companies will commit fraud, somehow defile the public, and go bankrupt, because that's what happens when Trump's in charge. Just look no further than the loss of the US dollar and the economy under Trump. We, the United States of America, are going the same way as Trump casinos and the Trump organization. Rampant corruption, fraud, losing money, because that's what he does best. And then Pete Hegseth, again, fucktwat extraordinaire, pitiful, teeny weeny, tiny peeny little man. He is now purging. Here's what Newswire reports. The U.S. quietly removes memorial to Black World War II soldiers at Netherlands American Cemetery. Of course he does. He has a white supremacy tattoo on his chest. Of course. They took the Tuskegee Airmen down at the Pentagon. They've made all the boats be white men. They're putting back up Confederate soldier memorials. They're taking Harvey Milk's name off ship, Ruth Bader Ginsburg's name off ships. Do you know why? Because he is a Christian nationalist. His pastor thinks the 19th Amendment should be repealed and women shouldn't be allowed to vote. And Trump Hegseth retweets it. This is a man who's had 3 wives. He has no value for women. They're interchangeable to him. He is pathetic and he is weak and he is a racist. And all of these people in the military, it is a disgrace that this is their leader. And we saw it as little rah-rah conference where he told everybody they couldn't be fat. And then he just rolls Kanks's fat, obese ass out there. It's gross. It's juvenile. It shows how pathetic this administration is, that the United States military has never been weaker. And between Kristi Noem and Pete Hegseth, and they're putting troops in U.S. cities, that's why Hegseth's in office, because he will put the military in U.S. cities. And if you remember, the last Secretary of Defense, Mark Esper, under Trump, said that Trump, when he went over and did his little photo shoot and there were protesters where he held the Bible upside down, remember that? Big religious guy, Trump, 2 Corinthians upside down. He said, well, just shoot the protesters in the knees. Mark Esper's like, you can't do that. Well, Pete Hegseth, Kristi Noem, they're fine with that shit. Oh, you want us to shoot protesters? Nah, no problem. You want us to take American citizens and arrest them and take their kids and run off in a car with them and kidnap them? No problem. So finally, again, the only people that are stopping Trump right now, because it's certainly not Chuckles and his leadership in the Democratic Party, are the U.S. lower courts and appellate courts. I mean, the Supreme Court sucks. They're beyond disappointing. But we see that in Portland over the weekend, a federal judge in Portland rules the Trump administration cannot deploy National Guard to Oregon, grants state and city a permanent injunction barring troops indefinitely. And I'm so glad to see this. Of course, we know what Trump's going to do. He appeals poor people getting food to the Supreme Court. He's going to appeal this. I'm sure the Supreme Court will probably allow it. But the reality is the lower courts and the appellate courts, they're stopping Pete Hegseth and Kristi Noem. The National Guard has no fucking business being in U.S. cities. We see that the National Guard in D.C. that Trump deployed is running around picking up trash. It's costing a fortune. These men and women are away from their families so that they can just sit around and do nothing other than collect trash and do landscaping, because there's no need for this. And I was just in Chicago a week ago where it's a war zone and it's awful. It was lovely. Walked around downtown at night, never felt scared, never saw one teeny weeny bit of crime. But this is what happens when you elect a corrupt criminal. The people underneath him that will work for him are corrupt, and they do not give a shit about the Constitution. They give a shit about one thing, and that is pleasing the most malignant, pathetic narcissist to ever hold the office of the United States presidency. So please like this video, subscribe to our channel. We're going to be back with more news. In the interim, if there's a great way to support us, and that is buying our book, Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches. It's linked below in the show notes. It's also available on audiobook.